Hebrews 11:1 says, "Now faith is the confidence of what we hope for and the assurance of what we do not yet see." A lot of us right now, we've just gone through a season of long suffering and we're in the wait before we see the promise. There is this tendency to lose hope, to feel discouraged. But without faith, it is impossible to please God. And if you look at this verse, faith is having confidence in what we hope for. It's actually being assured of what we do not yet see. Abraham was considered righteous because he had faith to believe in the impossible. The Israelites get freed from Egypt only to get stopped by the Red Sea that was before them, an impossible situation. The Red Sea before them and their enemies behind them. And that is exactly where a lot of us are right now. We are facing the impossible. We've moved forward in faith and we're freaking out because we don't know how God is going to do it. We don't see yet. But faith is believing in what we don't yet see. Faith is believing God that He's going to do what He says, that all of His promises are yes and amen in Jesus. Faith is believing what you don't see yet. So when the Israelites hit that Red Sea and they saw that God parted the way before them, they had a choice. They had to believe. They had to go forward into the unknown with enemies pursuing them and behind. I would have been afraid that the waters would have came falling down when I'm crossing the sea. So what I'm saying is that if you are waiting for the promise and if you are in this place where you're stepping forward into the unknown, there's going to be a tendency to suddenly freak out and lose hope, to not believe that God can do it. But this is the very moment that you need to believe and have faith and trust in Him. If when you have everything you need, you're fine and you have peace, that's not faith. It's only when you're in need, when it looks impossible, when you need the Red Sea parted before you, and that you trust in the Lord with all of your heart and all of your understanding, that God accounts that to you as righteousness, that is pleasing to Him. And it's the hardest thing. It's without God, we can't do it. And right now we're in this season where I believe the enemy is coming against a lot of the people that have been waiting in faith for their promise, that have stepped out and that are now beginning to doubt. Like Peter, when he stepped out on the water and he believed in Jesus, he saw Jesus, he got out on that water, but once he was in the middle of the water and the storm and it was raging around him, he freaked out and he began to sink. But Jesus says to that, in Matthew 8:26, He replied, "You of little faith, why are you so afraid?" Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm. When you don't see the promise, now is the time to trust and wait expectantly for God to move.